10:35 in Southern California. Maybe you just felt it. We certainly did here in Hollywood. An earthquake just rumbling through Southern California. In fact, I feel like our desk is still moving slightly. So this is one that is going to be felt across much of Southern California. Seemed to come in almost two waves. We felt something for a moment. We said, is that an earthquake? And then it came a little bit stronger after that.
Second wave, definitely stronger.
Still trying to determine the epicenter. Do you have anything?
Well, this says, okay, this was 6 minutes ago, but that was just a few seconds ago, so that wouldn't be it.
No.
I do see something from Ryan Wright, who just tweeted, earthquake in LA. That was a good one. We're still moving. That was just seconds ago. This one says that was a mini earthquake, terrifying preview of what could happen in the future. Someone saying, is that an earthquake? And it's interesting, Frank felt it first, and I said, no, I don't feel anything. No. And then we got a lot of sway, and it came a second time. And as we look up, there are lots of lights above us, so we all kind of scooted back, and everyone has their eye on the ceiling here.
And my wife, Jennifer, usually you don't even feel them in the car. Right. And JG's in the car, and she said, I'm at La Cienega in Santa Monica, and the car started rolling.
We just heard from Chris Schabel, who's in Santa Clarita. He said it was felt there. Obviously, if you are feeling or have felt the earthquake, tweet us and let us know how you're feeling it.
I was texting with somebody in Burbank who indicated they very definitively felt it there. And then all these tweets are coming in.
I've got them, folks who are saying Sherman Oaks, Rancho Cucamonga, Tustin. So felt widely across Southern California, Tustin and Orange County, the San Fernando Valley here in the main part of Los Angeles, here in Hollywood where we are. Rancho Cucamonga as well.
Warren, who is in the weather center, he said it looked like apparently he's getting word that it was in the desert. So that's how.
I have a tweet from somebody saying there was an earthquake in Vegas, and this obviously unofficial, but a preliminary. They're saying a 6.6 from USGS.
Wow. Really?
But I'm not sure where.
Yeah, I just
felt in Lancaster, Inglewood, Ontario, Riverside. I'm asking our assignment desk and our producers to get us some official confirmation as quickly as possible on an epicenter. I'm on the USGS website right now.
Eric Spillman sent a tweet, whoever is moving the table, can you please stop? Is what his daughter said as they were having breakfast this morning.
Yeah.
6.6, our producer just said, is what? Searles Valley? Is that, okay.
Hesperia, somebody saying earthquake in Covina. Chandelier is still shaking in Palmdale.
Yeah, it really, it had kind of a rolling effect, I feel, for us here. And it's that off-putting kind of moment where you think, is that what we're feeling? And it makes you nervous because you didn't know when it would stop. Because it did kind of go on for a bit, more than we're used to, I think.
And that second wave kept on building and building and building. As we said, we're just looking up, looking at the lights to make sure if, we're in the clear if anything happens. But usually the Baron was saying if it's a rolling effect, that means it was quite far away, and it was a rolling effect here. If you get that sharp jerk motion, you're closer to the epicenter.
LA Times is saying 4.2 epicenter near Ridgecrest, 30 miles from California City, 59 miles from Barstow.
Yeah, it's saying 6.6, as Sam mentioned, 11 miles from Ridgecrest, California, 10:33 a.m. is what it has.
Did you say 11 miles
from
Ridgecrest?
If the folks up in the mountains, if you've felt this, give us a ring at KTLA, and we'll put you on the phone once we can confirm that you are who you are, and we'd like to hear your point of view of what you experienced.
We know Ava DuVernay. Director, is she, right?
Yes, absolutely.
She just put this out over Twitter. Been living in Los Angeles all my life. That was the longest earthquake I've ever experienced. Not jerky, smooth and rolling, but it was long. It was so long, I thought for the first time ever, is this the big one? She says, respect Mother Nature, she's the boss.
It's another one of the reminders that we hear all the time. The big one will happen. I don't want to say exactly, because we don't know the extent of the damage yet. Here's the USGS website, and if we can zoom in on that image there, the red spot, we can maybe get a better pinpoint location on what that event was. There is a 6.6 there, 12 kilometers southwest of Searles Searles Valley. I don't know if we can zoom in anymore to get any more relief on that. Okay, that's as close as we're going to get. But a 6.6, again, this is preliminary, but it's something that was widely felt here in the Los Angeles basin.
Rancho Santa Margarita, San Bernardino, long rolling first, then the shake. Yes, here in Yucca Valley. It felt a ripple motion like motion sickness, felt swaying in Hacienda Heights. Earthquake felt in Bellflower. El Monte, we felt it. We're in Anaheim and we feel it too. Earthquake in Garden Grove, our dogs noticed it, then the chandelier went nuts. So it's clearly something that was widely experienced, but that sort of rolling thing, but the duration, I think what Ava texted there is really something.
Searles Valley, California, just reading here, Mojave Desert in the northwest San Bernardino County area, and we're looking at a map there just to give you an idea of where it is.
I just got a text from my own family. My son Sebastian said that the house was shaking, and this is Studio City. He said he went outside, the water was going back and forth, and even some of it came out of the pool. Yeah,
my husband, they were at the grocery store, and I always wondered, you know, a lot of times at the grocery store things can fall off the shelves. I think he just left. He didn't feel it. We're in West Hollywood, so he didn't. But I think it also depends what you're doing possibly at the time, although Jennifer, a lot of times when you're in a car, you don't feel the sensation, but Jennifer did, who was in West Hollywood at the time, so. And
just some information at home, especially if you're visiting, and we know we have visitors coming to Southern California, maybe you're not used to earthquakes. When we have an event like a 6.6, there will undoubtedly be aftershocks, so prepare for additional earthquakes. They will, in theory, be lesser in magnitude. They tend to be, but you should know that there may be additional shaking to come.
Yeah.
And as I was saying, usually you don't feel it in a car, but Jennifer was a full stop at a red light, and she felt like the car was rolling forward. She kept applying the brakes, thinking, what's wrong? And then she heard the guys on the radio saying.
People are posting their video, this in Burbank, the pool sloshing over. So I think you're going to see a lot of that kind of thing.
Steve Kuj in the newsroom. Steve, tell us what you were experiencing there.
Well, yeah, here in the newsroom, I think everyone started yelling, earthquake, earthquake, get under the desk. Things got, pretty tense here for a few moments, At first, when it started happening, I thought somebody was maybe on the roof of our studio, replacing some tiles or something, because that's what we started hearing first, this creaking and this kind of rocking, like there was maybe a bunch of people on the roof all of a sudden, or a big truck going by. And as you look at the map right there, you see where that earthquake was centered, up there near Ridgecrest. That's east of Bakersfield. Looking at my GPS right now, that's 112 miles away from where we are in our Hollywood studio. About more than 2 hours driving if you're headed away from like the Hollywood, 2.5 hours if you're coming from Los Angeles. And so many of us felt that earthquake so strongly. I think it's just incredible that we would feel it so fiercely here in Hollywood in the Los Angeles area. And then you look at the map, again, it's about 112 miles away from where we are right now in our studio, and that was stronger than I think any earthquake I've felt in my my 7+ years being here. And I felt a number of good earthquakes that were centered very close to where I've lived in the past around Los Angeles County. But really looking at just the distance between us and the epicenter of that earthquake, I think that certainly that's something that really speaks to the power of this particular earthquake, which we're hearing now is a magnitude 6.6. And if that holds true, I mean, that's certainly one of the strongest earthquakes we've had here in Southern California in a long time, Jess and Frank.
All right, Steve, we appreciate that. On the phone with us, we have Dennis, who is a viewer from Lake Arrowhead. Dennis, good morning. Tell us what you experienced.
Good morning. I'm in the third floor of my place up here in Arrowhead, and this was unbelievable. I thought the roof was going to come down. It swayed a good foot and a half for over 2 minutes. And I've never felt anything like this.
And you're Lake Arrowhead, many miles away from Ridgecrest, just as we are.
Yes. We are pretty high up.
And Dennis, you mentioned the fact that it felt like it was a long time. And we noticed the same thing here. Obviously, we're further away. But it seemed to come in two different waves. We felt it, and then we thought it had stopped, and then it continued on. Did you experience the same sort of thing?
Exactly. I thought it stopped, and all of a sudden I said, you know what, I better take cover. And I grabbed my dog and got under the doorway because it just kept going and kept going.
And I'm assuming or hoping you didn't actually have any damage in your third floor place there.
I don't see any damage. You know, maybe like a little cracking outside, but you know, that's to be expected.
Yeah. So I've found in situations like this, sometimes the folks, you know, all run outside and check on their neighbors and you start comparing notes. Do you have folks nearby? Have other folks come out to talk about it?
Yeah, but a lot of people come up. You know, some are up here now and some aren't. The houses are kind of far away from each other.
Yeah.
Dennis, have you experienced one like this before? How long have you lived in California? And was this?
I've lived in California all my life,
Okay.
and I've never felt one like this.
Really?
Ever.
This is
Even
stronger?
the one that was, yeah, the one back in, I think it was 68 or something like that was focused down in El Centro, down there. Mm-hmm. That was a huge quake, and I didn't even feel that one as bad as this.
And it's also one of those things, Dennis, and I would imagine, I think we all are guilty of this. There's a moment where you go, what do I do? You know, is this going to be really bad, and do I need to take cover? Did you have that sort of moment yourself?
I was thinking, oh, this is going to quit. And my ceilings are huge beam ceilings. And also I started thinking, if those come down, man, that's going to be bad. So that's when I grabbed it and moved back into a doorway.
Dennis, thank you very much for the input. I want to get to Lauren Lister, who's downtown LA, for a second. But first, before we get there, Sherry Odell, one of our news photographers, was on the phone with her sister in Bakersfield. She said her sister started to feel it first, and sort of Bakersfield is due west of the epicenter there. And if you were to go west from Searles Valley and Ridgecrest and just keep going to the west, you'd sort of hit the Bakersfield area. She in Bakersfield was feeling it first. Sherry could hear it on the phone, and then about a half minute later, she began to feel it here in the LA area. And her niece in Irvine felt it as well.
Yeah. I just got a text that my mother-in-law says she has damage, and she's in Encino.
Oh, wow.
So it could have just been things falling off,
Yeah.
you know, tables or vases or picture frames, that sort of
We
thing.
got another call too that it felt as far north along the coast all the way up to Ventura. So that's still quite a distance away.
Lauren Lister in downtown LA, preparing for the 4th of July celebration there in Grand Park. What did you experience there, Lauren?
Well, we certainly felt it. We are in a huge, wide open space. We're not in a contained building or in a home, so there aren't light fixtures or things like that to swing around. So we were all kind of looking at each other, you know, that, is this an earthquake? And it kept going and the rolling. And so, yeah, we all felt it out here, but then it was just business as usual. Everybody just kind of kept going with their day, frankly. This is not an active event yet. This doesn't start until 3 p.m. this afternoon, so not a lot of people around. Grand Park just has right now all of the people that are going to be working the event later this afternoon, so a pretty, you know, quiet environment and not a lot of people to be alarmed or cause concern. I did receive a text from my mom. She felt it. She says pretty strong in Irvine. She said all of her chandeliers were swinging back and forth, and that she was pretty shaken up by how long it lasted and the rolling nature of it. So yeah, guys, we definitely felt it here. According to my photographer, he says that we first heard you guys mention it, and then in the studio, and then we felt it. And it was that rolling sensation of the ground, you know, being unsteady underneath you. And that Jess, I heard you reference, you know, when you have that moment of, you know, do we need to jump into action to duck and cover? And then it ended. So that's how it felt in downtown LA where we are. Frank and Jess.
All right, Lauren, thank you. New number from USGS. They've revised it slightly downward to the original earthquake of 6.4 from 6.6. And we've had aftershocks, as we mentioned we would, 3.5 and 4.0.
LA Times is saying it's the most powerful quake to hit Southern California in years. I also was looking up the fact that it's a 6.4 is considered a strong earthquake. A 7 would be major. So this falls within strong when it comes to the magnitude of this earthquake.
It's certainly strong enough to cause damage, and we will, I know we're working that part of it right now to see what, if anything, has happened in terms of damage. And of course, our hopes that there have been no injuries or loss of life. Mark Mester is in Huntington Beach. We know that folks in Orange County felt this. Mark, you're amidst this very loud and sort of raucous parade and celebration down there. Did folks feel it despite all of the noise and all of that?
No, they definitely felt it. We're going to hear from two people just behind me in just a second, but I want to show you this armored vehicle right here. This is the 4th of July parade that happens in Huntington Beach every summer. I just spoke to those two gentlemen who were making sure that everyone is protected. I said, did you feel the shaking? They said it was so heavy, they thought someone was in their vehicle actually shaking it. So that'll tell you what it's like for them. Let's speak with these two folks. Give us your name. Where are you from?
Hi, Doug and Diane Minista from Yorba Linda.
So we're live right now. Tell folks what you thought about 20 minutes ago.
Oh yeah, we're just standing here watching the parade, and all of a sudden I started rocking with the wave. And we haven't even started drinking yet. So I think, I looked at my earthquake app and noticed it's a 3.54 up in Ridgecrest.
As we were talking, it's all the way up in Kern County. Lets you know how strong Mother Nature is, right?
Right, that's for sure. It was kind of shocking that I heard him, telling me, like, what's going on? I'm feeling shaking and rocking, so.
So you just thought it was like vertigo or something like that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just standing here rocking away, but watched your towers and didn't see it, the towers moving.
And it's rather amazing that this happened right now, Frank and Jess, because there are hundreds of thousands of people who are lined up on PCH. So again, you probably think it's something to do with the celebrations, but again, we do have confirmation from the USGS it was in fact an earthquake. Anyone else feel the earthquake? Did you guys feel it? You felt it. Come here. What's your name?
Sharon.
And what did you feel? When was it?
About 15 minutes ago.
And what was the experience like?
It was like shaking, like rolling, like, yeah.
Like 4th of July, a couple cocktail shaking, or 4th of July, like you actually felt it?
No, I felt it.
Okay.
I felt it.
What do you normally do when there's an earthquake? Do you have like a stop, shake, and roll type thing, or what do you do? Take cover?
No, if I'm in the house, I just go to a doorway. Open doorway.
Okay.
That's it.
We appreciate it. Thank you. Frank and Jess, that's the latest situation here from Huntington Beach, where we can give you a live look. Folks are trying to enjoy their annual 4th of July parade, but kind of got interrupted with a little bit of shaking. I know you guys will have updates in the newsroom. For now, we're live in Huntington Beach. Sending it back to you.